All right, now that we've gone over the teaching point, I want to go ahead and model for you using our model texts, which is all about penguins. You will be choosing a different animal other than penguins most likely for your research. However, I just want to walk you through really quickly what you're going to be doing today for your practice. So the first thing it has us doing is we should be looking over our resources and then sorting them by difficulty. So when you're looking at a book, right, to keep in mind what makes something easier or harder to read is how many pages are there, how many words are on each page, what size is the actual font. Okay, so this one's a pretty easy one. When I look at this next book, The Life Cycles of an Emperor Penguin, I see a little bit more text per page. I see a little bit more on this page even so. So I would say this book is harder than this one. And then my last book right here that I was looking at earlier, it has a really small font and it has a lot of challenging words. Words like landscape and threatening, entire, darkens. So if I were to put these in order from easiest to hardest, I would say it goes penguins, then Life Cycle of an Emperor Penguin, then The Penguin. I want to keep them in this order so that I know which book I want to read first because I know I want to start with my easiest book. You always want to start with your easiest book, then build up to more difficult topics. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to preview my text and see what are some of the common subtopics, okay? So this first book, I do have a table of contents, which is really great. Again, we should never be skipping our table of contents. And when I look at my table of contents here, I see what are penguins, penguin family, penguin body, hunters, how they move, how they stay warm. I see a lot about baby penguins and eggs and mating and kind of their lifestyle there. So those are some of the subtopics I see in my book, Penguins. Now I'm going to look into my other books and see if there's any commonalities. In The Life Cycle of an Emperor Penguin, I have another table of contents, and I do see some similar topics here. I see a lot about chicks and eggs and hatching again. I also see some information about where specifically they live. So obviously those two things seem very important. Lastly is The Penguin. The Penguin book doesn't actually have a table of contents. It jumps right into the text. So what do I do for this? Think. I can skim through my text looking at my subheadings. My subheadings will help me figure out what the book is about. So at the South Pole, so again, they're talking about geographic location, fishing champions, so how they eat, love songs, another part about how they mate, no nest, so again, getting into eggs. So I am starting to see many subtopics that are similar amongst my 3 books. So I've ordered them from easiest to hardest. Then I've previewed each one to figure out what are some similar subtopics. Then I wrote those down on my practice page. Your practice page looks a little bit different, but it still has a space for you to be listing subtopics. And I'm going to really encourage you, keep this list somewhere handy as you read your first book later today because this list might change or you might add on to it. For my subtopics that I chose were babies, hatching, diet, dangers, and mating. Again, as I'm reading, I might want to add to this, okay? So steps again, let's review. You're going to be ordering your books from easiest to hardest. You're going to be previewing them, looking at table of contents and subtopics to see what are some similar subtopics, listing the subtopics, then you're actually going to be reading your easiest book for the day.